Hello, I'm David Rose, and here's a look at some of our cases featured with Crime Stoppers and Washington's Most Wanted this weekend. You know, just when I thought I'd seen it all, after 12 and a half years of hosting Washington's Most Wanted, boy, was I wrong. A warning, our top fugitive is disturbing, a real sicko. Now, as you're about to see for yourself, he is a Deadeye Deviant riding the bus, a perverted exhibitionist who gets off on shocking women by exposing himself and masturbating. How'd you like to be sitting next to that creep? Tonight, you can help put him behind bars, where the only audience he'll get in lockup will have no tolerance for his disgusting behavior. So take a look at the guy King County Sheriff's detectives want to find right now. Deputies say a woman listened to her gut that something was wrong with this guy, started recording cell phone video, shows him expose himself as the bus rode from downtown Seattle to Lake City Way. This was back on February 18th. He started masturbating until he was done, and the expression on his face never changed. He boarded the Route 522 bus at Madison Street and 4th Avenue. The video is extremely graphic. Really, the only parts I can show you is when he waved there at the victim to try to get her attention. And he had no idea he was being recorded. He never said a word on the video. He exited the bus at the stop near 125th on Lake City Way.
We have really good video of his face, and we're just hoping that somebody recognizes this guy and can call in that tip so we can identify him. The fear is he's done this once, he's probably done this multiple times, and we want to get him arrested as quickly as possible. Metro has been great with their Report It to Stop It campaign. The female did exactly as we ask and as they ask, which is to report it to the police, which she did. Now it's just a matter of us trying to identify who the suspect is.
Detectives say he appears to be in his 20s or 30s, average height and build. He has brown hair and a ponytail. He was wearing a blue Palace brand hoodie with the logo on the hood. His pants were black and his shoes were gray and light blue. That cell phone video is as clear as day. So if you can identify him or you have any other information to help deputies find him, submit that anonymous tip right now to Crime Stoppers of Puget Sound and get that cash reward of up to $1,000. You can do that by using the P3 Tips app that you can download to your cell phone for free, or call the hotline at 1-800-222-TIPS. A community is coming together this week to remember a teen whose murder is still unsolved. A celebration of life for Conner Dassa-Holland will be held next Wednesday at 1:45 p.m. at Greenwood Memorial in Renton. His friends and family are organizing a car parade. People will stay inside their vehicles to drive by Conner and his family and pay their respects. The 18-year-old was murdered on Mother's Day, shot and killed in front of his family's home in the Rainier Beach neighborhood of Seattle. Conner was pursuing a pre-law major at UW, interested in social justice. He was a suicide prevention peer counselor and a youth track coach.
Amazing does not cover my son. He was beautiful. And for the rest of our lives, we're going to make sure that Conner's death was not in vain.
Conner's family has set up a GoFundMe page to help pay for his memorial. If you'd like to donate, there's a link to it in our story on catchwmw.com. Now, Crime Stoppers of Puget Sound is offering a full $1,000 cash reward for any information that leads to an arrest in Conner's murder. You can submit those anonymous tips through the P3 Tips app on your cell phone or call 1-800-222-TIPS. It's no surprise that a guy who failed to show up to court 22 times in the past would be wanted again for not doing what he's supposed to. Christopher Franz has a $100,000 warrant for his arrest. Hopefully that'll keep him in jail once he's caught. Well, he was released, and then he failed to set up the home monitoring like the judge had ordered him to do. King County prosecutors charged him with attempting to elude a pursuing police vehicle, hit and run, and residential burglary after a wild and reckless crime spree in February. The bold break-in happened after Franz had been spotted in a stolen car in Federal Way, led police on a chase for several miles, and then got stopped by a pit maneuver. He took off and ran inside a nearby home.
He actually forced his way into the house as the homeowners were coming outside to see what all the commotion and loud noise was. Franz pushed past them, went into their house. They were, of course, afraid for their life, so they ran out of their house. The police, Federal Way Police, was able to surround the house, and at this point we had Kent Police was on scene as well as Des Moines Police. 13 officers were there, and they called out to Franz, who now had barricaded himself in a bathroom inside of the stranger's house. And while in the bathroom, he yelled out to the police that he had a gun and that he was going to kill anybody that came inside, and then he was going to kill himself.
Well, Franz did not have a gun. He did eventually give up and was arrested, but not before throwing salt in the wounds of the burglary victims by trying to steal money from them while he was inside their home. So I guess he's wearing long sleeves to probably hide that ink on his arms. It says, "With love comes pain." Christopher Franz is 25 years old, 5 feet 8 inches tall, and weighs 140 pounds. Franz, it's time to grow up, dude. A cash reward of up to $1,000 is yours if the tip you submit to Crime Stoppers helps deputies track him down. Use the P3 Tips app on your cell phone or call the hotline. If you know where he is, it is anonymous. Tonight, Yakima County Sheriff's detectives want you to take a good look at this hoodie worn by a suspect during a violent and deadly home invasion earlier this month. Detectives agree it says, now that's one hell of a, but is the last word community? Maybe it's company. Either way, an online search comes up blank. But if you recognize it or you know anything about the two armed suspects who detectives are trying to identify, you could help solve a murder. Now, the photos of the suspects are from a surveillance camera in the Terrace Heights neighborhood. That's a suburb just outside of Yakima. The two men were armed with hunting rifles when detectives say they broke into the home and attacked a mother and her son inside.
During the robbery, a person was shot in the stomach and another one was assaulted. Both victims were transported to the hospital for medical care. The victim who was assaulted was treated and released from the hospital. However, the other victim, identified as 30-year-old Ronald Leroy Carl Bourne, has died. So our office is now investigating this case as a homicide.
The home invasion happened on May 6th. The shooting victim died last Sunday. Detectives say the suspects were in and out in just a few minutes, and they left empty-handed.
We believe that they were there to steal something, but the homeowners said that nothing was stolen. So we don't know if, the suspects had wrong information and tried to steal whatever item or items it was, and it wasn't there. But we're hoping that the public will know who they are, just basically by what they're wearing and their body postures, things like that.
So take one more good look. You can see their faces there through their masks, carrying hunting rifles, and that hoodie that also had a blue-colored logo on the front left side. If anything seems familiar to you at all, submit an anonymous tip right now through Yakima County Crime Stoppers. You can do that on the P3 Tips app on your cell phone. You can also send photos to detectives. It stays anonymous. You can call the hotline, 1-800-222-TIPS. A cash reward of up to $1,000 is yours if your tip leads to an arrest in this case. The Puget Sound Auto Theft Task Force is asking for your help tonight to find Zachary Rosenthal. The convicted felon is wanted right now in Pierce County for 6 counts of unlawful possession of a firearm. The charges stem from his capture by bail enforcement agents outside the Jack in the Box on Hosmer Street in Tacoma in March. He was wanted then for burglary and possession of a stolen vehicle. Tacoma police say he had 6 firearms in the car, including a fully loaded revolver, 2 shotguns, a rifle, an AR-15, and an AK-47 that had been stolen in Texas. His convictions include domestic violence assault, violating a protection order, and witness tampering. Zachary Rosenthal is 29 years old. He's 5'9", 150 pounds, and he was last known to be living in Tacoma. If you know where he is now, submit that anonymous tip to Crime Stoppers of Tacoma Pierce County through the P3 Tips app or call 1-800-222-TIPS and get that cash reward. Now to North Seattle, where this next case left the victim terrified, as most anyone would be when threatened with a gun. That victim asked that we protect his identity. So you and I will be his voice. Armed robberies are bad enough during normal times, but criminals are using this pandemic to try to hide their identities with a mask. This time, though, the Pratt screwed up. Take a look at this image from surveillance video near Northgate Mall, showing the suspect fleeing after committing an armed robbery at a bus stop. Now, based on the interview with the victim, Seattle police described the suspect as black with a thin build, 17 to 20 years old, about 5'10", and he's wearing black and gray camouflage pants and white shoes. Detectives really want to get him identified because they say he showed the victim a black Glock-style handgun and threatened his life.
obviously traumatized.
This surveillance video taken on Friday, May 1st, shows the suspect Seattle police want to find. The cameras caught him running from the Metro bus stop on Northeast Northgate Way in North Seattle, right after he committed an armed robbery.
So he says to the victim at this point, look, I want your earbuds, cash, and iPhone. He demanded this several times. He keeps looking between the victim and the weapon, and finally he says to the victim, do you want to die?
Detectives say the suspect took off through the businesses and headed towards 8th Avenue.
In the front end of the video, it shows him wearing the mask, but you will get one part of the video where the mask has been taken off. So you're going to get a pretty good look at his face, description of his clothing.
Exactly 1 hour and 10 minutes after the robbery, the victim's iPhone pinged here at this 7-Eleven in the Pinehurst neighborhood. It's not far from Jackson Park Golf Course. It's at the intersection of Northeast 125th Street and 15th Avenue Northeast. So it's possible that if you look at this map, the suspect took this route to get here. So please go back and look at your surveillance cameras on May 1st between 4:43 p.m. and 5:53 p.m. and see if you have any better images of this suspect. Seattle police say officers quickly converge on the 7-Eleven and they search for the suspect, but they didn't find him or the victim's iPhone.
Well, it's always possible that the suspect lived in that area, or maybe he had someone waiting a few blocks away. We really don't know.
With everybody wearing masks right now, it can be hard to tell the bad guys from the good.
You've got to kind of ramp up your gut feel. If you feel something's wrong or somebody's following you, or you just don't feel right about it, just get out of the area, go where there's a lot more people, and get away from a one-on-one confrontation.
So keep an eye out for this guy in the neighborhoods around Northgate Mall and Jackson Park Golf Course. If you can identify him for Seattle police, you will earn a cash reward of up to $1,000. It's anonymous. Send in his name and any photos of him that you have to Crime Stoppers of Puget Sound through the P3 Tips app on your cell phone, or you can call 1-800-222-TIPS. That's a look at some of the cases we need your help to solve this weekend. I hope you'll join us for the rest on Washington's Most Wanted. Tonight at 11 o'clock on Q13 Fox. Saturday night at 9:30 on Joe TV, 10:30 on Q13 Fox, and 10:30 on Fox stations in Spokane, Yakima, and the Tri-Cities. Let's make sure these criminals have nowhere left to hide.